in between, while we have a whole hour, my little camera crew, which happens to be my 11-year-old granddaughter, Avah Lee Mitchell. This is her. She's been in the kitchen with me since she was a baby. She would sit on the counter, but at age 3, she had her own little step stool, and we started making pancakes together. We made them every time she was here, and I had her 3 times a week, which became Avah Day. So we have learned to cook together. And she said, how about we go ahead and make pancakes while we're waiting on the dough to rise to the hot cross buns? And I said, will you do it with me? And she said, of course. So we are going to make Avah's pancakes. Now, what she knows and I know, and this might help you if you have grandchildren, we created our recipe and we have it taped right here to the cabinet door, which makes it easy. It's right there. We make pancakes every time she's here practically. And so we have the recipe and all the ingredients ready. So she's going to make the pancakes, and then we'll get the griddle out and show you this special thing that she does whenever she's here making pancakes. Okay? All right, so Avah, you can step right up there. We have, first of all, we're going to put in eggs. And I want to just say, oh my God, I found a supplier for farm fresh brown eggs. I grew up collecting brown eggs on the farm, out of the hen house. I have loved them ever since. Right now I don't have chickens, but I've had chickens up until about 3 years ago, most all the time. So anyway, Avah, we're going to do 1 egg. She's going to crack that in there. And as a little girl, it was, can I do it? Can I do it? And you got to let them do it. You know, sometimes maybe that shell goes into there. Well, just dump it out. The dogs will eat around that. And start over. It's no big deal. Just pitch that right over here. As her little brother says, score. Go ahead and whip that up a little bit. Push her down, lock her in.
There's your water.
All right, thank you. All right. And we're going to whip that around. Good. Now, the next ingredient I wanted to let you know, on our little recipe, it calls for 1 cup of milk and 1 teaspoon of vinegar, or you can use lemon juice, right? Mm-hmm. And that's a substitute for what?
For the buttermilk.
Yeah, because who has buttermilk on hand? No, we don't usually have buttermilk on hand. Okay, so I buy it special, and I usually use half of it, and then oftentimes I throw it out. So a substitute that Betty Ellis Cantor, who was our home ec teacher, taught us. If you have 1 cup of milk and you put 1 teaspoon of lemon juice or vinegar in, it will kind of curdle it like, and it will be tangy like buttermilk. But today I just happen to have real buttermilk because I was making another recipe that used buttermilk. Oh goodness! You all right? Goodness! All right, so go ahead and grab up the buttermilk and put that in there. 1 whole cup of buttermilk. And have you ever tasted buttermilk? I mean, we've always done it with the vinegar or lemon juice. Have you ever had it? All right, so try a little taste of that. Tell me what you think.
It's kind of sour.
It is very sour.
Yeah.
Tangy kind of sour.
Yeah.
A lot of people, the older generation, older than me, like that because the buttermilk is what was left after the butter made in the cream. And they love it. I never had it. I've tasted it with this, and it's like, it's kind of sour, but it might be something you adapt to taste to. Yeah. All right, so whip that up. Now, honestly, if I wasn't here, Avah could do this whole recipe by herself. She learned how to read. She would follow those directions, and she could do it. So, but, okay, so she stirred that up. Now, this is just me. You do however you want to do. The baking powder and the baking soda, some people put it in the flour, they sift it, they stir it around. I personally put it in the wet liquids and stir it because I figure it really gets combined in the wet liquids. So we're going to do salt, oil, baking powder, and baking soda. And you can put those in there and mix those up. And the last I'll put in will be the flour. Yep, the oil. Okay. And again, the recipe will be at the end. So you'll be able to print that off or write that down. It'll also be on my blog, SherryPhillipsMitchell.com, and you'll be able to find this recipe out there, along with some other cute pictures of Avah when she was just a little girl standing on her step stool back here at the oven, or the stove, I should say. And we have a cook griddle. A cook griddle? A griddle.
Yeah.
Just a griddle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Avah, tell us what you like about cooking in Grandma's kitchen.
It's always been fun cooking in Grandma's kitchen because every time we come over, I know, well, whenever I would spend the night, it would always be an Avah day, and every single morning that I would spend the night, we would have pancakes, which would always be fun to me because we make pancakes, and I knew how to do it, and I felt like a big girl knowing how to make it myself.
Yes. Yeah, because they like to do it. All right, so now we're going to do flour, and the key here is to be very careful not to turn your mixer on too quick. Her little 3-year-old brother was helping me one day. He was spending the night, and he said, "Can I do it? Can I do it?" And I said, "Yes." And I said, "Just one button." And about that time, he ran that little knob over there onto about 3 or 4, and the flour went all over the place, all over him, all over me. And he looked up at me, and I just started laughing. I mean, you got to laugh. It's funny. And we wiped it up, and it was all good. Yeah. So, all right. So pour that in there. You can pour the whole thing in there. 1 cup of flour. Now, the buttermilk, I will say, I wanted to give you a tip on this also. And then just lightly. You can buy, and I finally found it. I think I got this at the IGA Georgetown. It's cultured buttermilk blend. So it's a powder. Look at this. So why wouldn't you have this on hand? Because the buttermilk really does make a really fluffy pancake. So this is the liquid ready to be made. We have a substitute with lemon juice or vinegar and milk. But we have also this for cooking and baking. So this will be on hand all the time now in my kitchen.
I think that's good.
Let's get a spatula. Let me grab a spatula and we'll knock down the sides. Let's see if I got it down here. Yeah, made with love. You want to just knock the sides down? You can hold that up there, that's okay. Get the flour off of the sides. There we go. Now, I only used 1 tablespoon of sugar. I don't like it real sweet like it's a cake. You may want to do more. Again, this recipe will be out there at the end for you to decide. And you might want to put it on a little recipe card, tape it to the inside of your cabinet, which is a great way to put things that you want. Back here in the middle cabinet, we planted some fruit trees. And I actually taped up the fruit tree tag and the date right there so I could keep an eye on it so I wasn't digging around for it. Okay, we good?
Yep.
Lift her up there. Now, this is perfect. I don't like a runny pancake. That is real flat, but if you are watching calories, maybe you want one that's really thin like that. And like I said, I don't like it real sweet. Perfect. And if you don't put that sugar in, you're going to know the difference. Okay, so pull this off of here. Okay, we'll just stick that in there. Give it a go. Grandma, Mamaw, she always calls me Mamaw. Always test, right? And teaches her along the way, but she's done perfectly. So now, what's next?
Get the griddle out.
We're going to get the griddle out and we're going to get it heated up. We're going to check on our hot cross buns at the same time. Like I said, if you're going to do a yeast product, you have to let them rise. So do something else. And then set your timer so you know. And they were warm and starting to rise. But we'll get the griddle out and we'll be right back to show you what she does. Oh, don't forget to like and to subscribe. Well, I think, Avah, that griddle is hot enough, don't you?
Yep.
All right, so let's go ahead and use our little pastry brush, and she's just going to put the oil on. So our pancakes brown nicely and don't stick. You can hear it hissing already, can't you? So we turn it up to 400 to get it good and hot for a good pancake. I backed it off just a little bit to 350. Sometimes a griddle, an oven, microwave, they cook differently. So you kind of learn what your product does. So 400 is a little too hot. But I don't know if you remember this back in the day when Mom was cooking something and she wanted to sear it. Particularly, I remember this in her cast iron skillet. She would walk over with her wet fingers and go like this. And if it sizzled like that, it was ready. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and get this ready. Let's see. I think we use a 1/4 cup measure. And we don't have a 1/4 cup measure clean. Let's look in this drawer even and see if there's one there. 1/4 cup. Yeah. Yes, that'll be a 1/4 cup. That's a 1/4 cup too. And that just keeps your pancakes uniform. You could pour it, but our batter is just a little thick that it would take a while to pour that. And we like it that way. All right, so she's just going to drop a 1/4 cup roughly, and we'll get 6 on that griddle. And if we think that's just it's been sitting there, we're going to put just a tad bit of milk in that. We can leave it that way. That's not a big deal. Well, let's just do
Buttermilk.
buttermilk. That's our camera guy back there saying, hold on, let's go ahead and do a little buttermilk. Okay, and then you can stir that up with your spatula. We like it to pour, but we don't like it runny. Right?
Just the right consistency.
Yeah, you just kind of learn what makes the perfect pancake, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
Good.
And those were just a little too thick, we thought.
Yep.
Okay. Yes, I wondered. That was something I taught her when she was little, to rake the bottom across there.
Because if you don't do that, you spill half your batter all over the counter.
Drip,
and
drip.
It's like,
all over everywhere.
and then you get it everywhere.
Okay. And then we'll wait for bubbles. Right? Bubbles tells us that it's about time to turn them over.
Yep.
And that's really good and thick. So just, I'm going to flatten them out a little bit by shaking that. And we'll give them just a little bit of time. While we're doing that, I'm going to look in on the rolls. Oops. There's my... So, we're looking for the rolls. Woo! They're going to get half. Not get half. Oh, sorry. They are going to rise double in size. They're getting very close. And guess what? I figured this out. If you have a light underneath of your microwave and you leave it on, that little microwave compartment is nice and warm and toasty. Perfect for raising your rolls. And we're making hot cross buns over there while we're making pancakes too.
Yep.
And Ava, do we want to put a few blueberries? I'd like blueberries in a few of mine.
Sure.
Okay, let me get my blueberries.
I'm going to go ahead and check these just to make sure they're good.
So we've done lots of different ways. I actually made real blueberry syrup one time for her. She's pretty much a tried and true maple syrup girl. So let's go ahead and put some, doctor them up with a few blueberries. We've put chocolate chips in before too. Yep. Blueberries are a superfood. Anytime you can incorporate blueberries, do so. Yeah. She's doing all blueberries here because she knows that the last pancake made is her pancake. So the other thing that she always did when she was little is she would make little pancakes, one for each dog, and they all got their treat. She made pancakes for Jeff and I, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and the last pancake you'll see in a minute is hers.
Yep. I think these are looking good. They
Okay.
look ready to
Yes.
flip, so we are going to flip it.
Oh, yes.
That looks good.
Yeah, I'm sure
That
they're
one
probably
is
all ready.
Yep.
Now this griddle is the same griddle I've had all these years. All these years. And I highly recommend getting one. And you know what else we found out? A great thing was if you go to a gathering, you know, and you're taking a carry-in dish, you can actually take this along and have your 9x13 pan of broccoli casserole. That's her dad's. He's famous for broccoli casserole. He got that recipe from Betty Joyce Kirkpatrick out of Hamersville, God rest her soul, and has done it ever since. But you can set your 9x13 right on the griddle and keep it warm. Yeah, you know, because the oven's always full. At Thanksgiving time when you've got the turkey in there, or at Christmas you've got the ham in there, or a ham in there for Easter, which is what we always do. Or you're trying to make rolls when the ham comes out. Nobody's got a place to keep things warm. So the griddle works out great for that. So I highly recommend investing in one. So we're going to let that just go a little bit to be sure and get the blueberries good and hot in there. Those look beautiful, by the way, Ava. Huh? You're doing good. You're doing good. And, you know, she can go right over to this and do it all herself now and serve Papaw and me our pancakes when she comes to spend the night, which she's spending the night tonight. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So I highly recommend also getting the little ones involved in the kitchen to learn their way around.
Yep.
Because she certainly does. All right, I think those would be ready. 3 for Papaw and 3 for me. Yep, those look good. Okay. Put those aside. Papaw, get your fork and get some syrup out of the pantry because we're going to have our pancakes.
Okay.
Oh, I think we had some sausage left over that we could heat up also to have with this. Now, she's going to oil up the griddle one more time.
And then here comes my pancake, which is pretty great.
Yep.
But you gotta be careful with the oil because sometimes it'll pop up and get you. Oh, sure.
Yes. If there's any water in that at all. So we know that griddle's good and hot. And you saw how nice and golden brown they were. Like I said, I had it on 400, backed it down to 350 for this griddle. Perfect. All right, do you need any help? Because we haven't used that big of a bowl before.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna use the spatula and then just go
Well, I got an idea.
like
I'm going to hold the bowl and you're going to scrape it on there.
that'll be easier.
Okay? So, go ahead. And so what Ava always did and does and continues, after she makes everybody's pancakes, the 3 for the dogs, 3 each for Papaw and me, she uses whatever batter is left. Okay, go ahead and spread that one out real quick so you can get it going. Whatever batter is left to make a ginormous one for her. Oops.
Huge.
Yes.
Yep.
Yum. Yummy, yummy. That is good, good, good. Set that back there.
Most of the time, we have to use 2 spatulas to flip it.
True.
Yeah.
We have had it that way. Now, I also want to tell you, because Ava started young in the kitchen, she can make a killer brownie all by herself. The other day, Papaw went over there to watch the kids, and Ava had made brownies all on her own, and they were the best brownies. So she can read the recipe. She knows how to do it. And she's 11 years old. Yeah. Got no bubbles yet, so let's don't rush, right? That's the key, not to rush. But show them how you just kind of peek underneath.
Maybe you lift it up a little bit. We look, and it's still white, so
yeah.
it's not ready
Not
yet.
golden. We're looking for golden. Golden brown. Yeah. So, did I show? I already showed the or the hot cross buns.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Papa's gonna test it. Yeah? Are you good? Mm-hmm. Real good? Okay, good. Yummy. Did you want any sausage to go with that? No? Okay.
You should get
Uh-huh.
before you do that.
Oh, it's getting close. Real
It
close.
is.
Starting, and for those who maybe, it seems like a simple thing. Pancakes, but a lot of people go through the drive-thru to get pancakes and dip them. But this is our tradition. But what are we looking for here?
We're looking for bubbles, but
Bubbles.
they start out on the sides, but you gotta wait until they get to the center because I've had this happen. They get real thick, and I think they're done, but I take a bite out of all the middle, like out of all the sides, and then once I get to the middle, there's still fresh batter in there, which is not.
Yeah. Did we get a good picture of this
Yes,
on the
I
grill?
think I did.
Yeah. So we're starting to get bubbles here, and there's a few in the middle. And like she said, we want to make sure that we give it plenty of time to cook that middle. Like anything, the outside it cooks inward. Yeah. Papa done run off with his plate full of pancakes. Yeah, he's like, oh boy, is this lunch? Good for me, right? Yeah. I'm excited about these hot cross buns. This is new and I like experimenting. Sometimes the first time you don't have a finished product of something that you're doing. Like for instance, the pancakes. Calls for 2 tablespoons of sugar. For me, and this is just me, 2 tablespoons of sugar felt like it was too sweet, like a cake. You might like it that way, and that's okay. But I just put on there, I only use 1.
I think it's getting done. Yeah.
You think you can do it?
Yes.
You think you can flip her? It's all in the wrist. All in the wrist. Yay! One time, I remember this, and you probably do too. We both had she had a ginormous. It was huge.
It was the size of this. It went over top of the plate.
And we both had a spatula, and we're trying to churn. And, a few of those didn't turn out so good. But we've learned, and she's learned to not be too impatient.
Slow whenever I
Yes,
flip it.
look at that. And the buttermilk, you can see how that pancake is really rising from the buttermilk. I think that the buttermilk does make a fluffier pancake, just like in the biscuits. And I'm thrilled to death that I found that powder. So I always have that on hand to do. Yeah, oh, that was looking good. So while you keep an eye on that, I'm just going to go get the maple syrup out for you.
Okay.
Okay?
It's really good sometimes if you add like blueberries to it, like how we did there. Or have blueberry syrup with like regular pancakes or like chocolate chip pancakes is really good too.
Yes. And what am I saying, getting the syrup out? Papa's already gotten that out. It's back here. Another thing that you could do, I'm all about eating healthier now. I had a little scare back this summer with the C word, but I'm happy to say that all is good with me. But I did change my eating pattern. These are a dried apricot. So you could just put them on warm and put your maple syrup over and be getting your apricot, which is a fruit. You could dice these up, put them in the batter, sprinkle it just like we did the blueberries. These are a jumbo multi raisins. I don't know what they're big, they're plump, there's light colored ones, there's dark colored ones. If you like raisins, you could put raisins in there too. You could put nuts and raisins and maple syrup. The whole point of that is to incorporate more fruits in your diet. See, I'm trying to follow 5 vegetables and 2 fruits, so I'm looking for ways. And I love a dried apricot. They are so tasty. Do you like them? Do you know if you like them?
I haven't tried one. I'll
Well,
try it.
try one. I love apricots. Love them. But I don't usually have them, but I put them in these little jars and they're handy. So if you get a couple here and there,
No.
a little handful of raisins. You're not a fan of them?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Well, I guess she's going to spit that out. Maybe when she gets older. All right, you good?
Yep. I think
Alright.
we're ready to flip it.
All right, we're going to go eat our pancake. And we'll be back to check on those hot cross buns.
Yep.
Look at that. Turn our griddle off. I've always taught her to just unplug it. That way you know it's off and you didn't forget.
Be sure to like and subscribe if
Oh,
you
yes.
like more cooking videos.
Like and subscribe, she said. Yeah, because then we know that what we're doing you like. And if you subscribe, it sends it to you and says, hey, Sherry's Country Cooking Show just posted a new video. All right, see you soon.